Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live. Arsenal currently sit top of the Premier League. We've got the Champions League coming up. 1 point tomorrow and they're through to the next phase. People say that this season has not been as good as last season, but right now we're riding pretty, sitting pretty at the top, in pole position in the Champions League. Yes, things could be slightly better, but sometimes you've got to look on the bright side of life. I'm joined by Steve, Kate, and Melvin Marks. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back, mate. Good to be back. Good to be back, just like Chelsea and Spurs are.
Yes, I was going to say, good to be back, like Chelsea and Spurs are. As Jason Cundy says,
we're back. All right, mate.
Yeah,
all right,
lovely
mate.
to have football to talk about again. Nice to have football.
Exactly. Charlton's, Tottenham might as well be Charlton. Tottenham's title challenge started in November. It started in October, ended in November. Chelsea, they're back with a vengeance, potentially pushing Champions League. That fizzled out.
And Man United's title challenge started last week.
No.
Did you know? Was it?
Let's give them credit where it's due.
Go on,
The worst start they've had in years. The worst start they've had in 150 years or whatever it was. But only 8 points off top. Only.
They're still ranked, mate. That is that is fourth position if ever I've seen one.
No, that is definitely sarcasm in my voice there. 8 points. 8 points off top is a lot of points at the start of November when you're just about to get into a busy schedule. This 8 points, I don't know where Man United are meant to pull back this supposed 8 points, which is 3 losses from Arsenal, and also has to be those 3 wins from Man United. And they're also not taking into account that they've were the first team to lose to Galatasaray in the Champions League ever away from home in England. They lost to Copenhagen in the Champions League. They're on the verge of getting knocked out. And prior to their last-minute victories against, Sheffield United and Luton, they've been pretty rank. Pretty rank.
Yeah, plus the 17+ goal difference as well. You know, that from makes it. They seem to forget that's another game or 2.
There we go. Exactly. So we're not talking about them because we've got more pressing things to discuss. First and foremost, Melvin, what was your thoughts on Arsenal's 1-0 victory against Brentford on the weekend?
It's very hard watching it, wasn't it? I mean, the goal at the end papered over a lot of cracks, didn't it? It was a feel-good factor, that goal, for more than one reason. The 3 points, the win at the end of the season. You know, we can say, we're 2 points better off for that last-minute goal. And also, it was good for Havertz to get a goal, and he took it well, actually. Nice little run into the far post and headed it down. I thought we headed it into the side netting to begin with, to be quite honest, from where I was. But no, it was hard work. And we didn't really put them under that much pressure. They were happy to sit back with 12 behind the ball. And we were happy to play it round in front of them. And it was very, very, very... It's the type of game that if you recorded it, you wouldn't rewatch it, though we won.
Steve, what good things can you take out of the game?
Not many, really. You know, Melvin's already mentioned there the Havertz, goal. Hopefully, that'll give him some confidence going forward if he needed any. We as I said, I think on the post match, I think he's the type of player where, sort of. He sort of gives me the impression he's got a lot of confidence anyway. But anyway, that's another thing. It was a tough watch. Good things out the game. I thought, defensively we look really strong, all the way across the back. I thought Saliba and Gabriel are just getting better and better, week by week. They're just like, they're them to a colossus at the back there. The best 2 centre halves pairing in the league by far. Better than Manchester City. I think getting a little bit annoyed with this Man City loving this season, people. Do you know what I mean? It's going on a little bit. but that's again that's another thing. But I thought we was good. As I say, defence was strong. Brentford really never give us any problems. The only time we did have any problems at the back was unfortunately caused by Aaron Ramsdale, which I was gutted about because I had a feeling it was going to happen. I spoke on the show before about how people keep going on about it, and how we're in the age of social media and players read these and the confidence that they go, and I don't know. But that, again, that's another thing. But Declan Rice, again in the midfield, absolute, giant of a performance. Zinchenko was good again. Up front, I'm afraid a lot was in my eyes was very poor. I thought he was awful up front, and we've been a little bit like that all season. Gabriel and Martinelli were good in flashes. Jesus, I thought, had one of his worst games in an Arsenal shirt. I think he was literally non-existent. Maybe that's something to do with the Brazil thing and playing 90 minutes. It shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? Shouldn't be. They're fit men. But yeah, good things was the defence. Declan Rice, but yeah, a bit worrying. The offensive in the final third was a bit worrying to me. Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, Jesus. Not so much Martinelli at Saka at times. When they got the ball, they always looked dangerous. But yeah, Jesus and Odegaard were a little bit off for me on the weekend. And yeah, they definitely need to do a lot better. And Nketiah, when he come on, never really give us it. In the end, thank God for Havertz, because when he come on, I thought he'd give us something different. Excellent, a little bit of skillful as soon as he come on, the way he sort of turned that player inside out as soon as he got on the pitch. That was excellent. And he gives us something different, Havertz. I watch him, he gives us something different. And when he came on, he did that. He did that again against Manchester City. He won the game against Man City. He changed the game. He changed the game against Brentford. And yeah, he gives us something. He gives us something. But Arteta just got to make sure we get more of him, out of him. So, but yeah, those were the good things. But he was probably more bad than good in the end.
I've got a different call on the players. Sorry, I got a different call on some of the players' performance. I thought Zinchenko looked like he wasn't interested on Saturday.
Really? Right.
Yeah, I know. So perhaps it's just the way people see things. I thought he looked disinterested. He didn't do his normal, getting in the midfield and beating a player and changing the way the ball's being played from one side to another. He seemed like he did. The defence, yeah, they played well. But having said that, they didn't have a lot to defend against because we had most of the ball, and it was basically our attack and midfield against their defence. I thought Eddie, when he came on, he's a lucky guy because he had that chance to slip it to.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah,
and he made the wrong decision once again.
Yeah.
I think he plays with blinkers sometimes. I really do. And had we drawn 0-0, he would have got a lot of criticism. And is it rightly so? Well, he is. He's put on that pitch as a sub to do a job, and he wouldn't have done it. He made a schoolboy error, really. If he'd have kept his head up like most footballers should do, he should have played it in, and we would have scored through that.
Do you think do you think he didn't see it, or do you think he thought glory?
It's a good question. I don't know. I can't answer that. But if it's going to go for glory, you've got to hit it harder than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was powder puff. It was bad.
Yeah. If you're going for glory, go for glory. Don't do I pass it, do I shoot, and then do a pass shot. That's what it was. It was a 50-50, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Other players, let me see. Rice, another time. Again, he was in the right place at the right time to kick the ball off the line. Because you talk about, Steve, you talk about social media doing Ramsdale's confidence in. With all due respect, the manager's done that far worse, in my opinion. Right? The way he's just been dropped, forgotten about. So he's got no confidence. He should, and hopefully, I thought he was going to be bigger than that. But had that goal gone in, and it could have easily got in. Let's face it. Thank God Rice was in the right place. But if the forward had kicked it properly, it still would have been a goal. He would never have forgotten that. And he would have been under so much. You think he's under pressure now? He'd be under so much pressure. And also, when he threw that ball out, I've never seen an Arsenal goalkeeper do that. It's all going on in his mind. And I thought he was the type of character to just get on with it. Like you say, Drew, when you let in a goal, you can't worry about it. You've got to carry on. And it doesn't seem to me that he clears his mind and starts again. He's still got the figures up there from the last mathematics sum he was doing.
And I've been there myself. I see it on his face, and I agree with you there. I think that Aaron Ramsdale himself won't understand why he would have been dropped. He will be looking and assessing what Ray is doing, and he will probably still think everything he's doing I can do. I don't know why I've been dropped. So when he comes into a game, I know people will say he didn't do himself any favours. It's his opportunity to play himself back. It's not the case. Ramsdale got dropped through player style, not through form. He didn't have a drop in form, which for the reason why he was dropped. It was player style. Raya can do something more confidently that Ramsdale can't. And last season, Arteta had to do a happy medium with Ramsdale because he wasn't comfortable in those positions. So he'll be going over his mind. So he'll be beating himself up about that first incident, even though there was nothing that came of it. He will still be stewing on it in his head. And you can see from that second incident where he's gone to throw it out and he's second-guessed his throw and he's tried to claw it back and kind of throw it in another direction. Again, I've done it myself. I've gone for a big throw, gone, oh shit, halfway through, player stepped in front. If I throw it there, it's going directly to their player. I've tried to change angles and go for the other player, and I've done absolutely nothing, and it's landed about 2 yards in front of me. It happens. It happens.
But playing devil's advocate, Keir, playing devil's advocate here. When we say, I mean, he's an England international, Ramsdale, so really he shouldn't be doing them mistakes. End of.
Yeah, but
whether it, again, this is playing devil's advocate. People will say this, right? They're saying he's an England international. He wants to go and play in the World Cup, possibly in finals, right? You get on with your job. You're professional, right? You're getting paid a lot of money. You got to do it. Some people will turn around and say, "What did Leno do wrong when we signed you?"
No,
some people will say, about when Joe Hart, what did he do wrong? When it's not Arteta's. I don't think it's Arteta's fault.
But our response to those, Leno was in bad form when Ramsdale came in. Remember the goal against Wolves where he came running out and got sent off? It was all culminating in bad decisions that Leno was doing over time. And Leno's time that he takes from receiving the ball to kicking was too long. So he's not a ball playing goalkeeper. That was the first and foremost. So to the point when Martinez come in, it was almost like actually Martinez is probably better with his feet than Leno. So that's why people were, do we have Leno? Do we have Martinez? Actually, Martinez is a better goalkeeper than we actually thought. So and then with regards to mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. It don't matter whether it's literally Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi make mistakes. It don't matter who you are at any level, you're going to make mistakes. It's just how you deal with them. That's the problem. If Aaron Ramsdale makes a mistake and there's no David Raya, I don't think he has that same worry in his head. But the competition is so fierce next to him. He's already lost in his head. He's already thinking, fucked it. That was my opportunity. He shouldn't be because he's not getting back in the team. If Ramsdale has an absolute worldie on Saturday, saves the team, we win 1-0, he makes 3 world-class saves.
Oh, yeah.
Does he get back in the team?
No, he's not number one. He's not number one goalkeeper.
He doesn't.
He's not.
So this missed opportunity, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. And that's where he needs to come from.
Yeah.
He needs to stop thinking about this is my opportunity. He needs to stop thinking about worrying about things that happen. Just play your game. That's what he needs to do. But I think those conversations need to be had to him because he's still only young. I was 30 when I was having those conversations with myself and worked out, actually, stop dwelling on stuff, stop overthinking stuff, stop worrying if something happens. Doesn't matter. He's 24. Yes, he would have dealt with other things, but we're also talking about a player who in his career, up until now, it's all been upwards. Youth level, he's been the best in his year. He's been playing for Wimbledon from a young age. Bournemouth in the Premier League from a young age. Sheffield United. No matter what, every club he's been at, he's had praises because even though those teams have gone down, he's been player of the year. It's all been upwards. Gets Arsenal move, upwards. Gets the England call up, upwards. This is the first time he's had to deal with anything seriously bad. It could be the making of him. It could be the breaking of him. But it's all part of his learning. And now he needs people around him to sort of say the right things, to make sure he needs some sort of psychology from the Arsenal staff, whoever's there to help him as well.
I think we all love Aaron Ramsdale, and that's what makes it so hard, I think, for us. But this, I mean, if I'm him, I'm looking to move on. I think the best thing for Aaron Ramsdale, forgetting Arsenal for a minute, is for him to move on, because I think his career could go backwards. So he needs to be number one, and sadly that's not going to be at Arsenal.
I'm sad as well, Steve.
I'm convinced that 100%. He's not going to be number one at Arsenal. So for him, I want him, because I like him, to it's hard. It's weird. It's put you in a weird situation. But look, he needs to move. He does.
Yeah. He does for himself. He needs to move. But what I think is sad is that you see the team after the game at Brentford, and he didn't do anything special in the second half. Ramsdale. I know he played better, but he had a stinking first
more
half.
solid.
The bar was low, so let's not get carried away. But all the team went up to him and were like congratulating him because they really like him. He's part of their team.
Exactly that. And
he's no longer going to be part of their team, and it's a bit sad that.
But also they would have known. I'm pretty sure words were had at halftime. 100% words would have been had at halftime, because and encouragement. Get it out of your head. Move on. You know the levels you are, because he come out a different player. So he was definitely dwelling on something in that first half. The slaps on the back at the end of the game were well done for getting through that first half. We come out with a clean sheet. That's what those were. And Arteta making the thing about Havertz, that's because that was a big up yours to everyone who's been slating Havertz every week in, week out. How's he doing every day on the socials? Like, even when he's not playing, he hasn't played. He come on for 5 minutes. Oh, how did Havertz do this week? It's just baiting. There's too many breaks. It's just baiting. So look, those players doing that at the end, that was for Ramsdale because of the first half. I understand what you're saying with regards to he needs to move on. Long term, he definitely needs to move on if he's not going to have a position in this club, which doesn't look like he will. But it's not going to be easy for him to make that decision, considering in May he just signed a new long-term deal and was probably seen as one of the players in this team who would be a future captain or part of the leadership crew just because of his personality. So it's going to be a tough pill to swallow off the back of not even 6 months earlier. You just signed and committed your long-term future to this club. Next thing you know, they've brought in a 30 million replacement for you. Like, do you know what?
I don't know what you think as well, Melv, but you just saying that about the contracts and Ramsdale. I think when Arsenal players sign contracts, I think a lot of fans seem to think that he signed the contract, he's there for the long term. I don't think Arsenal are thinking like that.
But to players,
I think they're more thinking about selling on and the value.
No, to the players. When the player's signing a long-term contract, is he thinking about the value of his? I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about whether the players feel that, or whether there's even been a conversation. The reason why I say that is because Eddie Nketiah has been given a very long contract. A good contract. So has Reece Nelson. I mean, and now Ramsdale has been given a decent contract, good wages as well. Very recently, and it wouldn't surprise me from things I'm hearing that in the next maybe January, maybe certainly in the summer, that all three of those could not be at the club. So, and they're three players that have only just signed new contracts. So, I think there's
value up in it, Steve. There's a value to it.
Exactly that.
Value. There's no intrinsic value for giving.
Exactly that. I think it's
especially someone that don't play in the first team regularly.
Exactly,
mate. A worldie, an absolute worldie, who's got 6 months of his contract left. You've got a chance against some half decent money.
100%.
The three you've mentioned, you've got no chance.
100%, mate. 100%. It just seems to be like a sort of like a convey, just a link to certain players you look at and you think, they signed a new contract, but you just can't see them. And especially when you think he's just gone and bought a new goalkeeper and, the links with, certain players we're hearing about and reading about, you think, well, why signing on a new contract? But it's probably for that, like you said, sell-on value. I'm pretty sure it is for that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Eddie Nketiah was with a view for a sell-on value, but I just don't see that Ramsdale signs a new long-term deal with any sort of thing in the back of his mind that he's going to be leaving anytime soon. I fully believe that he thought he was going to be here for a long, long time.
No, but I'm more not so much the players. I'm on about like Arteta.
Yeah, no, I get that. Look, you done Granit Xhaka last season when they signed him up on an extension to keep his transfer value fee up. We kept him on. He had an excellent season, and it paid off because we wouldn't have even got half the money that we would have got.
Exactly, it's an insurance policy, isn't it, Kieran? Insurance policy.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, where are we at?
Here we go.
Hello. Jamie Carragher, good friend here. He says deliberating employed by Arteta to make Arsenal more pragmatic and less eye-catching, or does he need more from his attacking players? Jamie Carragher went on to say that he doesn't believe that Arsenal's new style of play has necessarily been a tactical change from Mikel Arteta, and he says that it's actually that Arsenal need more from their attacking players, and that they've been distinctly average this season as to why they've not been as good as last season. What's your thoughts? Do you think there's been a tactical change, or do you think there is some in what he says, or fully backing the fact that you don't believe that our attacking players have been as good last season, which is why we've not been as good going forward or as eye-catching?
No, I think he's talking absolute nonsense for a start. And I think he's got it totally wrong. They're 100%. We watch Arsenal every week. We watched them all last season. We watch every game. You've got to be blind to see that there hasn't been a tactical change. We now have been playing with the inverted fullbacks. We brought in players, like Havertz and Timber, so we can play that way. we play out from the back a lot more. The build-up's a lot slower. We play through the midfield a lot more because we want Declan Rice on the ball, and players of the quality of Declan Rice, he's like the guy you want to go through. Last season it was more 1-2 pass down the flanks. Zinchenko also was getting forward down the right. Ben White was getting forward down the flanks, just constantly every single game. Him and Saka were linking up. This season, Ben White doesn't go forward. He sits back. He's more defensively. He obviously doesn't watch Arsenal Football Club every week, does he? Either that or, he's lost his touching, and how to read a game. So, look, Arsenal have changed their way of tactics. You've only got to see through the players that they brought in. The reason why Saka and Martinelli are not the players. Well, no, I wouldn't say not the players they was. Or that they've not been on the ball as much is because we have been playing through the middles, and we, as I said, like I said before, we're not getting down the flanks more. It's a more pragmatic build up, but we're sitting top of the league, so it's working. And once we get all our players back, and once our Odegaard's back in, I mean he's been out a while. Jesus has played a handful of games this season. You know, we've lost Timber. Once they're all in process, then you'll probably start seeing us to play a little bit more. But to me, we've changed our way of playing, and it's a good way of playing. We had to change. We had to play that way, going through the middle, and we had to be more defensively at the back, because last season we was giving the ball away so many times. We was making mistakes. We was sloppy. And this season we're looking even stronger at the back. We look harder to beat. So yes, it's less pragmatic. Yes, we don't fly forward like gung ho like we did last season, but it's still just as as effective. So yeah, but and yeah, okay, it's not as fluid, but I don't think it will be as fluid as last season. I think you'll get to see us more fluid, but no, I think Jamie Carragher's has read it totally wrong. And personally, I'm quite surprised of someone of his, being a pundit on Sky Sports, is unable to see it personally. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that, mate.
Sorry, Steve. Go on, Kieran, go on.
No, I was going to say, what's your thoughts? Do you think that Arsenal have been Arsenal's forward players need to be better? I know we've all said we need more from them, but do you think it's a case that it's solely based on the forward players have not been as good as last season as to why we're not been as eye catching, or is there been a tactical switch?
I think to a degree, some of the players haven't been up for it for certain reasons. Saka looks like he's run out a bit of energy. I mean, the guy's been unbelievable. He's got 9 out of 10s most week, and this season he's getting 8 out of 10. So he looks poor, and he's not the player last season or the season before and the season before that. One of those reasons, as I said, he's been played too much. But also, you mentioned it, Steve. Ben White stays back a bit more.
Yeah,
and Ben White had a great relationship on the right, and that doesn't happen anymore. Basically, he gets the ball, Saka, bang, the ball stops dead, and he's waiting for someone to do something, either the defender to make a tackle so he can flip round him, or someone to come off of him, and people aren't coming off of him. Most of his passes now have got to be backwards 10 yards because he's not getting the support he needs near him or to the side of him or on the outside of him. So I think that's a big reason. And I think that, Martinelli is an unbelievable player on his day. And he picks his games at the moment, Martinelli. I don't know, not purposely. Certain games he just runs away with it. And other games he's like, he struggles. And he doesn't.
Yeah, against Sevilla, he was unstoppable. Like, that was still having nightmares. And then the following game, it was like, is this the same Martinelli?
And also, let's go to Jesus. In the Champions League, he's been unbelievable. Certain games, unbelievable. He's been like, wow, this is what we've missed for the last 3 months. In the league, he hasn't done it. To be honest with you, he's looking like he's very isolated. I'm not blaming him for that, but he is isolated. He gets the ball, and he's playing like he's a 6'12" centre forward. That's not. I know he holds it up very well, but he can't only do that. He's got to do other things as well. And Arsenal keep giving him those high, long balls to chase down. He's got a big centre half jumping on his back the whole time. They shouldn't be playing football like that, Arsenal. They should play him at his strengths. He can hold it up, but also what he's very good at is the old 1-2, ducking and diving, making space for either himself or others. And he hasn't been doing it in the league. So they've got to sort themselves out. Whether it's tactics, I don't know. It might be. But in my opinion, is when you've got the ball at your feet, you've got to do what you've got to do, whatever the manager says. You've got those split-second decisions to make. And we haven't been as attacking. It's sad to see. If at the end of a season, we are fortunate enough to win the league, then I'll take that with the worst football in the world. Remember, I watched George Graham's football for years. We the old 1-0s, and that wasn't pretty to watch. I mean, I think I read every programme during the game.
It's funny you did that back in those days, weren't it? You knew the programme.
Yeah, exactly.
Subs, a little story. Yeah, you did.
I didn't know that. I never knew that. Anyway, so I'll take it. But listen, we'd love to have both, but if we can't have both at the moment, not the way we're playing. So I'll take the results.
Yeah, true. Galvo says City have to play the way Arsenal play versus low block most weeks and be patient. The difference is they have a goal-scoring freak up front. no doubt we ain't as entertaining this year. No, I agree. I think we do need to find a balance. I was hoping that as we got nearer to Christmas and some more busy schedules, a bit more consistency with games coming up thick and fast, we might see a bit more progression in play, a bit more attacking flow. Hopefully we do see it over the next few weeks. I mean, we've got 8 games in 4 weeks to deal with, so I'm sure we're going to see some good results there. Look, I, like Melvin said, I've said it before, I don't want a manager like what's his name, Simeone in our team, because that's not the way we play football. But if there is going to be a season where we have a pragmatic season and win the league, I'm not going to be one that's complaining.
Yeah, I mean, City ain't exciting to watch, are they? City ain't exciting.
They get called robotic.
They are, and that's because they're like they. Again, there's no coincidence that Arteta was at under Pep for 3 years and he won 3 titles or 2 titles, whatever it may have been. He's been brought up on that football. Yeah. So he is going to copy him, and you can see Arsenal playing like Man City. They're very safe at the back. It's like they're very difficult to break down. Their build-up's a lot slower, but when the wingers do get the ball, it's they go crazy. And we have said about Saka, and he's not been great. But we said last week, look at his stats. Look at Saka's stats. When he gets the ball, he delivers. So as long as when they do get the ball, I don't care, if they get the ball 20 times, like last season, and maybe they scored, if they can get the ball 3 times and make a chance from one of them and score on another, which it seems like Saka is doing. We see the weekend, although, the problem we had the weekend was that people wasn't getting in the boxes, were they? People weren't getting on the end of the crosses.
Yeah, they weren't taking so they weren't gambling.
Yeah, when they did get the ball, which it was a difficult game. Brentford played well. They didn't have much of the ball, especially like Martinelli. But when they did, they delivered on it. And again, obviously for the goal, Saka's cross, very, very quiet during the game, didn't do much, but the 2 times that you wanted something from him, he delivered pinpoint crosses. One was a goal that was disallowed, and one cross that won us the match. So, and that's what City do. I think the only difference between us and City, I don't know if you agree, like what Galvo said there, I think he was spot on. The difference is that they've got Ireland in the middle, right? We've got Gabriel Jesus, who, we love Gabriel Jesus, but how can I put it? Who's he like? Do he's more like a Roberto Firmino. Yeah, he's a Roberto Firmino. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Salah's the Saka, Mane's the Martinelli, Jesus is the Firmino. Yeah, where City they've got this monster in the middle called Ireland. If he wasn't there, will they be where they are this season? Will they be? Who knows? Would they have won the last season? Would we have won the league? All ifs and buts. The fact is that he is there. But that's probably the main reason why, I'm coming round. That I think we do need something a little bit different. Probably in the window especially up front.
I think that I said it on the weekend. I watched the Liverpool game when they played Manchester City. And I said to someone that if Haaland was playing for Liverpool, Liverpool would win the league.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Also, where Man City are better than us is that I think that all of their midfielders and all of their forwards would take far more half chances than our midfield, any of our midfield or our forwards. They are more ruthless than us.
What wingers you mean?
I'm talking about our whole forward line. I'm talking about any midfield player that plays for us. Given a very similar situation, I fancy obviously Haaland to score instead of Jesus on a half chance.
Definitely that. Yeah,
I'd fancy Grealish to score.
What, over Martinelli?
No, he's on the right. I'm talking about perhaps what's his name, Saka. What about the other guy that got up front?
What, you reckon Grealish to score more goals than Saka?
With half chances. Saka misses a few, and I love Saka, but he does miss a few.
No, okay. Yeah.
I don't think Grealish. I don't watch Man City every week. I see a lot of them, but I don't watch them every week.
Yeah.
He seems to, when he gets it, he takes it. I think also, who else is there? They got the little guy. What's his name? The little guy up front?
Alvarez.
You don't miss him. He's got a half chance. You'd probably put your money on him scoring, right? Whereas we've got who else is in? Can we talk about Rice? He hasn't got on those positions, so it's pretty unfair for me to pick him out. Jorginho, again, is a bit hit and miss. Whereas their midfielders, Roderick and all that, if he gets a half chance, it's going in.
Roderick seems to score goals, doesn't he?
It's just it seems all round. And that is a difference. So, having said that, if we had their centre forward, we'd win the league. That is it. He is the big, like I say, he is an enormous difference.
Yeah.
If you put any ball in the box on the deck or high in the air, there's a very good chance he's going to get at the end of it and score. Very, very good chance.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I do think we just need to create more chances. I do. I think the tactical change that he's made is he doesn't want to go as direct. We're trying to take the ball out to the wings and then bring it back in. Starts trying to stretch their play, which is why he just wants the goalkeepers and the defence to hold on to it a little bit longer so they can draw in a couple of players and then we can start playing around them. I get it. And I get the reason why he didn't want to be more direct, because with us being direct, it means Zinchenko pushes forward a lot quicker. It means probably one of our centre-back pushes up, because we saw a lot of that last season with Saliba and both Gabriel pushing forward as well, being that extra option. I understand. We conceded too many chances last season, but we do have to find a happy medium. We do need to create more chances because our forwards are not as clinical as they can be. Like there's still plenty of time for them to develop. But Martinelli, when he gets in front of goal, I feel relatively confident with him. Saka, he needs a few chances, and Jesus is very similar. But we do need to create more. We created more last season and we scored more. And I think if we create more this season, we'll score more. He has to find a balance, because I don't think we're going to be able to grind out games like we have been in recent weeks. We saw last season when we were conceding too many, it got to the point where it's like, we can't keep winning these games last minute. We can't keep doing this to the death. I feel the same now. And I feel like we're going to get frustrated in games where they're going to be 0-0s and hopefully not losses. But yeah, I do see us having games where we're just not going to score if we're going to have as minimal opportunities as we are at the moment. Steve, what's your thoughts on that one?
I don't know. I do think you're right. Saka and Martinelli, especially Odegaard, because I don't think he's even started.
We've got 23 goal contributions from Odegaard last season, and then if you haven't got even half of that, that's a big problem.
Yeah, it is a big problem. But I mean, it's unbelievable, really. We're sitting top of the Premier League, and we've beaten Man City. And we've lost one game away to Nottingham Forest. We're sitting top of the Champions. So there's something going, right? But it doesn't. It feels like we're being very picky, doesn't it? But I think it's because we're trying to look into the future and how things could pan out. It's like Melvin said, we could end up carrying on like this, playing this pragmatic way, nicking the odd goal here and there, and ended up winning the Premier League. But I do agree that I want to see more from Saka. I want to see more from Martinelli. I want to see more from Odegaard. I want to see more from Jesus. Mm-hmm. Because even though I don't necessarily want them to be as gung-ho and crazy and score and get 15 and assists. I don't think that won't happen this season. I'm convinced that won't happen. Hopefully Rice will pop up with some goals this season as well, which I'm sure he's more than capable. But yeah, look, I totally agree with what you say. We do need people to score goals, and that's why I think we need them to be more sort of progressive in when they get the ball, and Yeah, I don't know what's actually missing yet. I think Odegaard could be that guy once he hits form, because he hasn't, as I say, he hasn't really started yet. But I think he could be the key in that area once he starts, popping it around like he was last season. I don't really think that what Saka and Martinelli, as I say, I don't really. I'm not really too worried that they're going to do what they did last season because, I'm seeing signs of it this season. But I think the Odegaard could be the key. And once he starts getting into his game, once he starts moving the ball, once he starts picking up, scoring some goals, playing. I can't really remember once or twice maybe this season when he's played someone through or split a defence open. He hasn't, as I said, he hasn't started. Once he starts going, then I think we'll be fine. But I'm very pleased with the way the midfield's playing. I think even Partey not out. I think with Jorginho there, I think Jorginho's been outstanding this season. Outstanding. 12 million. Incredible. Sign him up for another 2 years. Sign him up now. I'm surprised he wasn't playing against Brentford. If Jorginho starts instead of Partey every week, I'm fine with it. If he plays like that.
Do you think it was more
Absolutely
so because
fine.
of this game coming up tomorrow that he didn't play?
It could be, mate. Could be. And that's a good shout.
We need to just put this over the line, don't we?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. But yeah, defence looking strong. Midfield, Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard. We just spoke about, and he needs to. Once he starts going, mate. Yeah, we're sitting top of the Premier League, and I think once if we haven't clicked already, and then. I think teams should be very, very worried about if we do, because we could run away with it. Really, we could really run away with it.
I agree. I said something earlier in terms of if we've not clicked now, and we do start to click the way that we're hoping that we do step it up a little bit more attacking wise. You're not in trouble because we're at the top of the league and we haven't even come out of second gear really. And also another point where with the midfield. Declan Rice has been brought in. It was Granit Xhaka last season. They're two completely different players. First of all, one's left-footed, one's right-footed. They're style-wise, they're completely different. Thomas Partey, the link-up play between Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard, and Saka was something that was a marvel last season and season before. The connection that they had, and these little things you can't expect to change. Your two centre midfielders. And expect it to be exactly the same.
I think that's another reason, Keith. I think that's another reason why Arsenal are a little bit pragmatic, or not as easy on the eye, because we can all watch football. We love to see wingers, don't we? We love to see Saka, we love to see Martinelli, we love to see him bombing and going down that wing, whipping crosses in, and that constantly for 90 minutes. But Arteta's looked at this. They've brought in Declan Rice. Right, he wants him on the ball. He wants him to control things. This kid doesn't lose the ball. His passing's 10 out of 10. Right, you can't surpass this guy. Right, you can't not use him. You can't you got to use him all the time. So this is why we're going through the middle, and this is another reason why we're not seeing Martinelli and Saka like they was last season, because they're not on the ball as much. It's not been given to White and then to Saka. Or Zinchenko and then Martinelli. That's not happening. A lot's going through Declan Rice. So, and that's probably another reason. Why?
Yeah. Hopefully, teams start cottoning onto it, going to Declan Rice, and then they start moving towards the flank again. So we've got other options. So I do think we've got options. I do think that Mikel Arteta, although he doesn't get credit for it, he makes very good substitutes when it's not going right. We've seen it a few times this season where he's made the changes and it's made a difference. So, yeah, I think he's got something up his sleeve. Gavin says, lads, do you think that the loss of Thomas Partey has been underplayed? His ability to progress the ball through midfield allowed us to get at teams before they could get their low blocks. I mean, it's just played its part in even if it's the going forward. Get onto the Lons preview. Big game tomorrow, Melvin. Arsenal only need a point, but get this one over the line, and then we can sort of see rest some players in that final game.
Definitely, we need to do that, as you say. If we can get a point, stroke 3 tomorrow night, and then last game, bring the Nelsons of the world in to play for us and give hopefully the Saka's arrest players like that, give them a few days off. I'm going tomorrow night. I think it's another fantastic night of football. Let's not knock it, because we were years without it. So let's just embrace it like it should be. I know it's not a type of game that, oh my God, it's on a knife edge, we've got to win it. So it takes a little bit of the drama away from the game, but I'm going to go there tomorrow night and enjoy it. Definitely going to enjoy it. And as you say, we've got to get this one over the line as quick as possible. And tomorrow night it'd be fantastic if we can go there, go to the Emirates, get the win, top of the group, and wait for the next the draw and chill out a bit. We need to do that now, and then we can concentrate. Once that final whistle goes, and hopefully we've got the 3 points, we can concentrate for Saturday's game against Wolves.
Yeah, no, definitely. Steve, Lens game, it was a tough tie in the first leg. Do you think that was more down to it being away and the atmosphere of Lens slightly underestimated what that setting would be, and kind of bit us in the backside? But this one, we should be fully prepared for it and get the 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, it was it was a very hostile atmosphere, wasn't it? And I knew it was going to be a tough game. Lens is not an easy place to go to. They've got a good record at home, and on the night they did the business over us, and they beat us. And to be quite honest with you, probably fairly in the end. They deserved their win. But it's a league, and now we've got to come back to the Emirates and do the job. And for me tomorrow's massive for me. Huge football match. We cannot afford to lose that game tomorrow. We've got to win it. We cannot go into that last game at PSV having to win. We can't. Because then if we go away to PSV, and they turn us over, that we end up being second in that group, and then we're in trouble. Right? Then we could be drawing one of the big boys in the next round. Yeah. It is imperative that we play our best team tomorrow, and we go out there and we get the job done. If we draw, please check the table. I think if we draw and PSV win, I think I'm right in saying that PSV can beat us and go above us.
Yeah, we don't need that. We
just do our job, eh? Let's just do our job. Worry about it after that.
You can't know, Mel, can you? Can you? You can't, because I don't know if we don't win, if we don't beat Lens, then we've got to go to PSV and win.
Yeah.
So and I would be sitting here next week, a day before that game, right? Worried, very worried that we could be finished second in that group and then end up drawing a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich or a God knows what else, in the next round. And I don't think we can afford that. Look, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but for me, just go out and then get the job done. We're not playing Wolves. It's Saturday. You got 3 days until the Wolves game, like Melvin said. I think the point I'm trying to make: do not go out there and start messing about with a team. I don't want to see Nketiah. I don't want to see Nelson. I don't want to see Kior. I don't want to see whoever. I want the full, strongest possible 11 that we've got to go out there and get this job done. No playing around, because if we don't get a result there, then I'd be concerned about going to PSV, and winning.
All right. And a tricky game against Wolves. Although Wolves at the start of the season, they probably thought that these sorts of games are breeze over them. But Gary O'Neill's doing a very, very good job. They're a lot. It feels like they're a lot more attacking than previously. It could be a bit of a tough test come this weekend, eh, Melv?
I think it's going to be the toughest ever game for the referee and VAR, because they can't cheat both
Pressure.
teams. Yeah, they don't know what to do. I mean,
That's
how
true.
team they don't like. So if they favour Arsenal, if they do what they've normally done to the Wolves all season,
Yeah.
Technical bit.
that means
Go
they're
on,
being
Steve.
fair to Arsenal. They can't do that, vice versa. So no, it's a tough game for them. Listen, Wolves are a club. I've always liked Wolves from growing up as a kid. They were a bit special, Wolves, for certain reasons. They had a centre half who became our manager. He was the kingpin when I first started watching the Arsenal. They're the only team that was listed as old gold and black as their colours. Everyone was red, blue, and whatever, and white. Yeah. But they were old gold when I did the league tables. They used to get on the old comics years ago. And the last 5-6 years has it been since they've come up? Wolves gone down and come up again. They've actually been a force. They've done well. They've actually done very well. They've actually made themselves part of the Premier League
team.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't actually messed around, and I think I couldn't understand it when they got rid of the manager that went to Spurs, because he'd done a great job for them. But clubs make those decisions, don't they? I just don't understand it. But I think they're a fine team. They play some good football. They're fantastic on the break, which we've got to watch. They're really good on the break. But the league treat them like a bit of dirt. They had 4 decisions go against them last night. They didn't even lose 3-1. They lost 4-0. It takes some doing to have all those decisions, which 2/3 of them were totally, totally wrong. And one was a grey area. And they got all 4 wrong. So really, really, I mean, don't they make brown envelopes in Wolverhampton? I don't know.
But Gary Neville said yesterday, he said, look, there's nothing I can do, but I can either do 2 things. I can either take it on the chin and say it's just football and be respectful, or eventually I'm going to have to say something, because it's just too much. I can't look them in the eye after all these decisions have gone against them and point out their mistakes when they're making the mistakes on the field. So even managers that don't want to say anything, they're being pushed into a corner, backed into a corner, and they feel like they're having to say something, because if they don't, what's going to change? That's the craziest thing. So the refs don't want you to say anything, but we're just going to pretend it's okay.
Well, what they could do, what they might say to him, call him in and go, look, don't worry. You know the saying, they say to him, things level themselves out over a period of time. I know it doesn't. On that basis, they'd probably win the league, Wolves.
That's what I mean. They would have to win the league for it to balance out.
They're just imbeciles, absolute imbeciles. I ain't even got, we'll be here all night. Don't get me, Kieran knows, don't get me started on VAR. I think it's the biggest waste of time. I think it's the most ridiculous thing that's ever come into the game. I think it's ruining the game. I think it's run by a bunch of imbeciles who haven't got a clue what they do. We had a good conversation last week, me and Kears about it. They've got technology there. They're trying to they're taking it away from the referee, and they're asking people in VAR to second referee the referee when they haven't got the technology to check it. It makes no absolute sense. And I've had enough of the top Jim White and the Simon Jordan talking, nearly swore then, at their backsides, because they haven't got a clue, like dinosaurs. And it's just so annoying.
They are clueless in Seattle, aren't they?
Absolutely, mate. I've never ever known, please, anybody, any young people watching it out there, they say look up to the elders. Generally that's true, but certainly don't look up to these people who talk absolute nonsense on the radio, for God's sake, because they haven't got a clue about football. And it's not surprising. One's a washed-up Sky Sports presenter, and the other one's a foul chairman, and that's all they are. So, certainly don't take no notice of them. But it's just far as it's done for me. It's finished. It's ruined the game. No one will ever tell me it's any good for the game.
It's dishonest, though, Steve, because
corrupt, mate. It's corrupt. It's corrupt.
Yeah, it is corrupt. But what makes it worse for me is these people that you put your trust in, or the youngsters do. I don't anymore, obviously. But these ex-professionals and the correspondents and all that, they're lying. They know they're lying. They see something, and they've got an agenda, and they've got to bend the rules in their mind to make the decision go the way they want it to go. Because if you change the colour of the shirts and ask them for the same decision, they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
But how is that last
They're being
night?
dishonest.
Last night you had. Sorry, we're going off the Wolves preview, but just quickly, last night, the geezer's blatantly headbutted the guy in the face. He's headbutted him. It's gone like that.
Yeah.
And do you know what their answer was? I'm
sure
you've heard.
See the game.
Don't know the amount of pressure.
Have you heard the Gary O'Neill?
No, what did he say? What did he say then?
Hey, the whistle mafia has taken Steve out. What's going on?
Yeah, the VAR have had him. We haven't how much we've got to pay VAR to get him back. What was the excuse then, Kieran? They didn't get the red card. I can't wait. Get back, Steve. I'm going to want the answer.
The suspense is killing us right now.
Please.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear?
Tell us.
He spoke to him, didn't he? Referee Gary O'Neill spoke to the actual referee after the game. They might have had their little red wine, and he's asked him the reasons why he wasn't sent off for the headbutt. He said he only headbutted him a little bit.
What?
I seen the rules.
He only headbutted a little. Yeah. He didn't headbutt him. It was a soft headbutt. So my 8-year-old grandson, I can go to him later on and say, look, when you go out and play on Saturday, you go and you can headbutt that kid. Well, that's all right, but just make sure it's a soft one, a little headbutt, not a follow through.
Remember,
what absolute nonsense! This is what his game's going.
You haven't read the rules, obviously.
There ain't no rules. It's a headbutt.
It is the rules say you are not allowed to headbutt if you read the rules, and it says in brackets unless softly. You must have seen it, Kieran.
Yeah, no,
you must have seen it.
Mind.
Exactly. It's definitely in there. I've seen it myself with my own eyes.
Silly me.
But this is it. This is what it's coming to. And
what about the other one? I did see the other sending off when he's been booked already. He gives away a penalty, barges the geezer off, takes him out, and the ref wouldn't book him for the second bookable offence.
It's a joke. It's a joke. I understand when they say double jeopardy, don't give him a red card at that position there unless it's cynical and it's the last man. But if it's a foul in the box, it's a yellow card. It's a yellow card.
It's a cynical foul as well.
There we
which
go.
Makes it worse.
Yeah.
Can I just say something before so we don't? I'm sure you won't. I may have put it in or not put it in. We had the sad news today. We had some sad news. Did you see that?
More?
No.
I don't think it's serious. Sorry. Who?
Oh no, Bob Wilson's wife
passed away.
No, I didn't know.
Megs Wilson. I mean,
right, yeah.
Got a big.
We had Terry Venables the other day.
Yeah, Willow, big charity. Willow. She ran with.
Yeah.
Bob and Megs Wilson. I mean,
thoughts go out to Bob and his family.
I remember him playing at the F. Definitely remember him playing in goal for us when I first started watching the Arsenal. And after about a few years, and fantastic. I don't know anyone said a bad word about him or his wife. They genuine people, and he had a great career as well on television, Bob Wilson. But his wife and them are always one together. You know what I mean? They did everything, charity, and marvelous couple, and it's very sad news for him, obviously.
Yeah.
Our thoughts go out to Bob Wilson's family. Definitely. Thank you for that.
Definitely. Cheers,
And now, hopefully, some news that will lift some Arsenal fans. Some transfer updates. First and foremost, Steve, Arsenal in need of some more firepower up front. We'll start off with a very well-known name, Dusan Vlahovic, that Arsenal had longly admired and went for previously, but to no avail. And now it seems like there's some transfer news on that part.
Yeah, Dusan Vlahovic. I mean, Arsenal fans will know that we tried to get him not last summer before, and in the end, he chose to go to Juventus because it was the team he supported as a boy, which is fair enough. Big fan, Mikel Arteta, of Dusan Vlahovic. Big number 9 type, old-fashioned striker. Big, strong, totally different from Jesus and Nketiah. gone to Juventus. Things ain't, looking, things ain't really hit off. He's been put on the bench the last few games. He came on for the big game against Inter yesterday or the day before, and he did score a goal, put them 1-up. Ended up ending in a 1-1 draw. But Juventus, people are speaking to looking at getting rid of one of their big assets. I mean, they haven't got many big assets, and Vlahovic is one of them. Arsenal have, asked about his availability. And look, this is the guy that Mikel Arteta wanted before Gabriel Jesus. And if you're in touch with the transfer world and what clubs do, Arsenal always, keep an eye on people that they've been up into in the past. And, Vlahovic, is someone that they're looking at in January. So yeah, this is someone who I would put sort of at the top of the list, and certainly one to keep an eye on. He's a good player, very big, strong. I think he'd be good for the Premier League. So yeah, Dusan Vlahovic.
How old is he, Steve? How old is he?
24.
Oh, he's young as that, is he?
He's He's young. Yeah. Don't thingy me
he
on
fits
that.
the profile, then, doesn't he? Fits the profile.
Yeah, he's a different type of striker. He's powerful, strong, big. Something he's different from what we got. So, but I think the most, sort of the exciting thing about this signing is that, this is the guy Arsenal wanted before Gabriel Jesus. If they could have got him, they would have got him before Jesus. So yeah, it's definitely one. And there's been a lot of talk in Italy about him moving on in January. So yeah, and Juventus need money big time. They're in terrible financial debt at the moment. So let's keep an eye on Dusan Vlahovic.
And another player that's Arsenal have been linked with is RB Leipzig and Slovenia striker Benjamin Sesko, a player who was linked with Manchester United in the summer last year. You got some news on that one, Steve?
Yeah, another player who joined Leipzig last year. Another player again who hasn't hit it off. My personal opinion, this kid's special, very special. I think this kid can go right to the top. Talking to people in Germany today, people who are ex-Bundesliga experts, this guy wants to leave. He wants to go. Again, he's someone who's been sitting on the bench for the last 2 games. He's fallen out with the manager, and he's on the list. He's on the list of Arsenal. If they get Vlahovic, then it's Vlahovic sort of the main one, I would think. But Sesko is definitely someone that they're keeping an eye on.
Is he? What's he like physically though? Is he a different type of player to Vlahovic?
No, they're similar. They're very similar.
He's big, is he? Is he big?
Yeah, he's big. He's strong. He's good in the air. It definitely seems to be like a sort of a type of striker that Arteta's looking for.
Yeah, he's a lump. He's like he's like what, about 6'3"?
Yeah, I think he's very young.
Kilos. He's
mobile.
He's a lump.
Yeah, he's a monster. He's like Haaland. He's like
it's what people are looking at the moment. It seems like it was out of fashion a few years ago.
Yeah.
You wanted a quick, nippy, creative forwards, but now they want that lump again. The classic number 9.
Kieran mentioned that Manchester United were looking at him. They wanted him. Sesko, for some reason, wanted to go to Leipzig at the time, but he's
not a bad judge, is he?
That's very true. But you can see like that in the end, Ten Hag wanted Højlund, and they're very, very similar in stature and the way they are in age, and their ceiling for the future. Personally, I think people will tell you Sesko's a little bit higher level, a bit further on. So yeah, again, someone on Arsenal's list.
Did Haag think when he was buying that centre forward that was buying Haaland instead?
Yeah,
I bought him
from Wish or DH Gate, maybe, but he ain't 1 goal this season. Like, nah. It's
Yeah,
not, it's not hard.
good point, Russ, to just make in there. Openda. I mean, Russ has tell me if I'm wrong. Openda's actually the guy that's taken Sesko's place for Leipzig, and that's why he's sitting on the bench. Openda, I think, is on fire at the moment. Is he not, Russ? I think
Yes, he's the Belgium international.
Yeah, I mean,
He started the other day. He's not a great finisher, but he's one of those players who's just always busy. He's always there, always in the right place at the right time. So it could be one of them, just his development in a couple of seasons. He could be a class finisher, but he's always there and thereabouts. He's definitely one to watch.
Another person who confirmed the Arsenal Sesko interest was another very, very well known and a friend of the show, Ben Jacobs, who knows his stuff. So there's a few, from talking to a few different people, of higher standard, if you like. This, like I've already said, it's definitely one to keep an eye on if we can't get Vlahovic for whatever reason. So but you can definitely, I can tell you 100% that Arsenal are going for a striker in January, which brings up other questions. It brings up questions on Jesus, and it brings up questions certainly on Eddie Nketiah. So because we wasn't sure about whether Arsenal were going to try for a striker in January, but now I can confirm that they 100% are looking for one, which makes you think. Yeah,
it seems like obviously the Ivan Toney news was shut down the other day. We've seen that they potentially could be going for a player who's a bit off the beaten track, someone who's not really the obvious link. One that looks like he may not be joining. It's definitely in January. Is Victor Osimhen, Steve? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, told today that's not happening. No chance. Just literally, I asked a question and it was just from probably the biggest Arsenal source out there. You'd probably be able to work that out.
Just Mikel, is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine, mate. Yeah, he's in the kitchen actually. I got to shoot off in a minute, but no. But yeah, it was a simple no chance. So I think we can forgive that, and it's not surprising. To be honest with you, look, he's going to cost 120 mil, so that's certainly not going to happen in January. And it from what I'm hearing, it does seem to be that Chelsea are, seem to be the favourites, and they've obviously found a loophole, where they can sort of spend more money.
It's madness. It's madness. How is Chelsea an exciting proposition at the moment? Like genuinely, how are you looking at that club? Forget the wages that they're going to offer you.
I think that's all it is.
Forget the wages they're going to be paying 16 of your different agencies, the family members that have come out the woodwork. Yeah, I'm talking about for footballing reasons. Why would you look at Chelsea and think that is the club I want to join? They're not. They're not. They spent £1 billion and they've got a team of potential. And when I say potential, I'm talking about 4 players in that team's got real potential to be decent. And how often have we said after seeing a player for not even a season at Arsenal, do you know what, this player could be special? Or if he carries on his trajectory, this player could be a superstar. We could build a team of them. But it takes more than just could be, coulda, shouldas. The world is littered full of players that could have and should have been stars and aren't. Even at the age of 20, 21, this kid looks good. Next season disappears. Injury happens.
Or a Balogun. Look at Balogun.
A Balogun. And to all the people that said Balogun, Ballon d'Or winner, okay, he could still be. But there's a reason why Arsenal sold him for the money that they sold him at and probably didn't play him as much as they could have done during pre-season, because they would have exposed the level that he actually is. He's gone to Monaco. Is he tearing up trees?
No. He missed a couple of penalties his first game. He hasn't done anything.
No,
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
is.
not trying to be harsh on Balogun, but it's just the reality of how life is in football. We can look at a player at 19 and say he's going to be a superstar. Come 22, he's in League One. It happens all the time. I see it a lot.
We said that though, didn't we? We said, oh, mind you,
Said
Balogun
it.
did. Yeah, we said it. Yeah.
Said it.
Yeah.
Another player, Steve, Douglas Lewis. You got news on Douglas Lewis?
Yeah, look, Douglas Luiz. We talk about Vlahovic. We talk about Sesko. Pretty much confirmed that this is the big signing Arsenal want to make in January, and this is the guy that Arsenal want to get. Aston Villa has said there's absolutely no way we're selling Douglas Luiz. I've been told that there is a possibility that they would sell him, but it would be like, for Luiz anyway, crazy money. You're talking sort of 60, 70 million is what Aston Villa would be asking. To him, he's probably worth that. You know, he is a very good player. He's an excellent player. And I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal would test the waters with a 40 million, because Arsenal want this guy big time. Really want him big time, which makes me think, okay, now what do they want him for? For me, it's they obviously want to put him next to Rice. I'm 100% sure of that. That's why they want him, and they want a Rice, Luiz, Odegaard midfield, with possibly even now being Havertz, being that Saka sort of, maybe to bring him on and off, or Martinelli to bring on and off, and to change systems and use Havertz for that, because we was all pretty sure that Havertz was going to be that number 8. I think we're pretty sure now that isn't going to happen, but this is the guy that Arteta wants to put in that position. I think they'll test the waters. I think we will go in for January. I think we will make a bid for him in January. We tried to get him last summer. We put a bid in then. I think it was for around about 25, 30 million. So I can't see Arsenal going much higher than that. But as I say, what's coming out of Villa is that they want big money for this guy. So yeah, it's probably the one to put at the top of the list to keep an eye on out of the three we've mentioned so far. Douglas Luiz, Arteta, massive Brazilian. So obviously there's a connection there. He'll obviously be around friends. Let's see. But big, big target for Arsenal, Douglas Luiz.
If it's 60 or 70 million and we've been in about 30, game over, isn't it? I mean, it ain't going to happen. But
happy days. We're just going to ride off the hope that he wants to join Arsenal more than he wants to play for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
The club's paying him.
Yeah, true. I think he signed a bigger contract at the end of last season, though. Yeah. Because his contract was coming to an end, wasn't it? When we were after him.
Yeah, it's exactly what we've been speaking about earlier, wasn't it? About contracts.
They were after 40 mil then.
People think. I love it on Twitter. I love you all on Twitter. But please, when you see that someone signed a new contract, please don't think they're playing for your club for the rest of their career, because the most likeliness is that they're going to sell him in the summer. It happens all the time. Casado was the big one, wasn't it? Signed a new contract at Brighton. Next year he's gone for Chelsea for 120 million. Well, I could name 3 or 4 others like that. This is what they do now. It's the new way of working. But and again, like Melvin said there, Douglas Luiz could be a similar situation if he leaves. I dare say if Arsenal did put 50 million on the table, they probably would sell.
All right, let's get through these couple of these before we finish off. I think a short-term option in forward in January has been I've been told by a good source, me and Melvin know, that we're going for a big summer for Ferguson and Brighton. I mean, why? I like.
No,
but I like the look of Ferguson, but why would you spend, which is going to be 70, 80 million on a young kid who's not a regular starter week in, week out for Brighton, and is not the proven article? I seen it a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't make sense, because his price tag is not going to go up much more than it is now, because it will get ludicrous. So let's say his price tag's 60 to 70 right now, just on the base of the mystery that is Evan Ferguson, yeah?
It'll be more than that,
It's not-
Kieran.
Yeah, well, let's say
It's more than
80.
that.
How much more is it going to go up unless he scores 15 to 20 goals?
What's he done?
So
What's he
there's
done?
no point. Exactly. There's no
What's he done?
point.
What's he done?
There's no point.
I'll tell you
There's
what
no-
the point is. I'll tell you what the point, just to play devil's advocate. I'm not saying he's the same type of player, but you had a 16-year-old kid at Everton who Man United were more than happy to spend 30, 35 million on all those years ago on a 16-year-old. That's what I'm saying.
Have you seen anything in Evan Ferguson that makes you think Wayne Rooney?
No, I'm not saying, as I said, I don't say it's another Wayne Rooney, but I'm saying there's potential. Wayne Rooney was a little bit more than this potential, but he was still 16 years old doing it. And you've talked about, and we've all spoken about players at 20 could be great at 20 and crap at 21. But this player at 16, because they saw something in him. They knew, anyone who had half a brain with football knew this geezer was something special, and they were more than happy to spend. The most ever spent, wasn't it? 35 on a 16-year-old. And the only reason they spent it because Newcastle came in for him was they wanted him. And Ferguson went, name Ferguson again. Ferguson went, no, we're not letting him slip through. We've got to buy this kid. We've just got to buy him. And I think this Ferguson is a similar type of thing. He looks, I mean, you're talking about we all want big centre forwards now, Kieran. He does fit that bill, doesn't he? He's got something about him.
I don't know.
I don't look at this kid. I mean, for starters, Melv, you said it there. Rooney was 16. Rooney was 16. He was built like a 35-year-old man.
Yeah,
and
he was. Yeah,
he came into that Arsenal game, and it was like, what? This kid's a freak. This kid is not. I want to see some ID because there's no way this kid is 16. He scored an absolute weldy of a goal, and for the next 10 games he played for Everton, whether he came on as a sub or he started, he'd done something in a game. This Evan Ferguson looks like a very good player.
Very good.
But I can't warrant spending upwards of 70 million on an unproven talent like this.
Brighton want more than that. This is Brighton we're talking about. This is Brighton.
I'd spend 70 million. I'd spend 70 million. That's not my money. But if I was Arsenal, I'd spend 70 million on him. We spent 65 on Havertz. I know he scored on Saturday, but if we can spend 65 on Havertz and 72 on Pepe, we can surely have another little roll of the dice and spend 70 on this kid. Because I think I don't know
if roll of the dice and 70 million is something that I'm happy with.
So what's he done? What has he done?
He's 18, Steve. Give him a chance.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mel, this is Arsenal. This is Arsenal. It's not. You can't. I don't think we're Arsenal going. Would Man City buy Evan Ferguson?
No.
No chance.
Would
they buy him if they hadn't had Ireland?
No, because they would have waited until he'd scored 20 goals in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Because they could have thought to buy him and stick him in the reserve for 10 years. So
if you want to go and win a Premier League, you're not sticking Evan Ferguson up front. Who's just coming in from Brighton.
You buy proven.
You're not. And I think Brighton would be 100 million for him. They'd be talk because Brighton just talk stupid numbers. They don't get rid of anybody,
and they get it.
They won't. I think they won't get their. They won't be getting it for him.
They will get the money for him that they deserve, and that will be off the back of him having an outstanding season. He
may turn into the next best thing, but for sliced breads. But if Arsenal buy him in the summer of the way he is now, 80 million, I'd be fuming.
Yeah, so would I.
Absolutely fuming.
Brighton had a player who's very not Wayne Rooney because Wayne Rooney's a special, but his name is Aaron Connolly. He was a very tenacious.
Did he score against Spurs a couple of goals?
Yeah, he scored a couple. Two
terrific. Yeah,
I think he was a traveller, but he's that sort. I bring up these as a traveller because there's a certain way of football they play. It's very tenacious, very aggressive. It's like it's gung ho. So and he came onto the scene at 18 years of age. He's playing in the Championship now. He's non-existent.
Is he really? It doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work, and I think when you're talking about money like that, and you're talking at like we have to see the end product when we're spending that sort of money.
Well, if you're Arsenal now, and you're in this position where we are challenging for Champions League, Premier Leagues, you don't go buy I might have.
I'm not. No way.
It's just, he might be all right, mightn't he?
If Benjamin Sesko is 20-30 mil, boom, I'll have it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend money on a could be, it needs to be someone who's a little bit of a name in Europe, but it's not overly silly money. But when you talk about 60, 70 million, because you're going to pay the English tax, then
they probably will. They probably will get that type of 70 million, 80 million for Evan Ferguson.
They deserve it, though. That's my point.
But my point, I'm just looking at it from an Arsenal point of view, right? I'm looking for the here and the now. You know, we need a striker. Say we need a striker to push us on to the next level. Surely not. You're not going to pay 80 million for Evan Ferguson when you got some of the top strikers in world football out there, Vlahovic or Osimhen or even Ivan Toney. I'd rather Ivan Toney than Evan Ferguson. But then again, that's not putting down Evan Ferguson. You know, if Evan Ferguson would score 20 goals, 25 goals for Brighton this season, I might go,
no, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. If he's
scored about 6, 5.
But we have
not even that.
This sort of
2
money,
this season.
It's got to be someone who's going to be a bagsman. Before we go, one more bit of transfer news. Steve, the man that probably what everyone wants to hear about. Smile. Come on, Aaron, smile. It's Aaron.
He looks so sad, didn't he?
Dad said he's lost his smile. Where he's got it back. Go on, Steve.
Well, a few reports this week about that. You know, clubs have come in and Arsenal have rejected them. People I talked to, they've said that that's not true. That there's been no bids came in, and Arsenal was saying that that they're not looking to sell at this moment in time. Mind you, they said that about Kieran Tierney, and so they sold him. So Arteta is a bit of a liar sometimes, as much as we love him. But yeah, look, Arsenal are not looking to sell. They're not pushing Aaron out the door. There's been no bids for him at the moment. But what we have found out recently, yesterday it was actually that if Aaron did want to leave and he did want to go, then Mikel Arteta would not stand in his way, and he would let him move on, which is a little bit telling. Really, it's sort of neither saying one thing there or the other. But I think as we've already spoke about earlier that eventually he will move on. Although Arsenal are saying that at this moment in time he's not for sale, so I don't think he will be going anywhere in January. But again, like in the summer, I think he'd probably be moving on. I've heard Aston Villa are a team that they're interested in him. Some
Aston Villa. But they got Martinez.
Yeah, but he's 34 now.
Is he really as old as that? Oh.
Yeah, he's getting on, isn't he?
Still a good keeper, isn't he? Though, bloody hell.
Yeah, and Newcastle as well. That's just what I've heard. I've not something I've heard from one of my sources or anything like that. But but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's obviously it's a bit of a sad situation, but we'll see. But I don't think you'll be seeing him moving on in January. I think it more be a summer thing, which don't help his Euro chances much, does it either? So.
I mean, look. If we're going to be talking about ruthlessness, I'm honestly, I do not care. Arsenal has to come first. If Arsenal sell Ramsdale in January for sentiment, then what do we go and do? What do we do? We're back to square one. What? Carl Hines our backup? What if
I don't know much about him. I don't know much about Carl.
If David Raya gets injured 2 weeks down the line, and we've got Carl Hine in the running of the league and the Champions League, no way. I'm sorry, Aaron. ride it out to the end of the season. That's it. And then we go and bring in an adequate cover or competition for Raya, because we can't even contemplate selling Ramsdale, even if he wants to go. Sorry, you can't. There's no point, because we would have to go and buy another goalkeeper of a level that could potentially come in if Raya was to get injured. Can't do it. It's not.
Has there ever been a situation? Has there ever been a situation, Melv, Kears? Can you remember a situation where there's a team's had two good goalkeepers?
Yeah, Real Madrid and Barcelona do it all the time. Real Madrid done it recently with Keylor Navas and Courtois. Like it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. Like it happens. Man United had Van der Sar and Victor Valdez. Although Victor Valdez coming towards the end of his career, they still had it. It happens. It doesn't happen as often as we think, but it happens. Julio Cesar was a goalkeeper for Real Madrid. Casillas came in, had an absolute worldie, didn't come out of goal. Julio Cesar stayed there for the remainder of his career.
Didn't Man United have a goalkeeper from Real Madrid who didn't do very well for him? He was like half a reserve goalkeeper from number 2. Who was that? They played for Real Madrid for years. Blackhead guy.
Casillas?
No,
Man United had
Valdez. The Barcelona goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was Victor Valdez.
Him. He didn't do anything, he just drifted away. Now, look, James Johnson, good friend of ours, he said he's 31, Martinez.
Yeah, 31. And Evan Ferguson has got 6 goals in 12 games this year, but three of those goals were against Newcastle. So I get it. I get it, but
that ain't easy.
No, it's not easy. But Newcastle got their asses handed to them that day. I think it was about 6-1.
Yeah, I think my point is on Evan. I mean, I like Evan Ferguson, and I've liked him in the past. To sort of a future Harry Kane, maybe somewhere down the line. But
you got to see the end product.
If I'm looking at a Champions League final or a Premier League, someone who's going to go to the top grounds and win every week in, week out, score goals. And for me, that's not Evan Ferguson now. Not now anyway. Maybe 3-4 years down the line. Not for me.
Yeah, James going to say, we need to buy another good sub goalkeeper. We've got Brentford in the league without Raya again, and you need to fit in not a kid. Exactly. We've still got to play Brentford this season. So people jumping the gun and saying that is this the last game for Ramsdale? Well, it's not, because hopefully Ramsdale comes in the final game of the Champions League. Hopefully he plays his part in the Brentford game. Hopefully he gets a nice cup run, because I think he should be the cup goalkeeper. Just do everything we can to make sure his time here until he leaves, potentially at the end of the season, is good. He's been a solid for us. So
City got a very good second goalkeeper, haven't they? In Ortega.
City used to have Bravo, who was Barcelona's first team goalkeeper before they got Ederson. It happens. It happens, but generally it's usually one goalkeeper is going to be like, okay, I'll be second. These both goalkeepers are fighting for international duty. All right, that is all we have time for. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, James. Don't think I've seen your name before. Make sure you press that subscribe button. Good to see you again, Russ. Thanks for joining us early on.
James is a good friend of mine, and he's well known out there. I tell you, he's got his own show, fabulous own show. Really good guy, James. Okay. Checks in the post, I hope, James. All right, mate.
Checks in the post. Hopefully, sub for a sub, James. Old school. Xander Baker, good to see you as well. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Steve and Melvin.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Kieran. Thank you.
Make sure you check out the latest transfer news on Steve's channel and on the Transfer Exchange Show page on Twitter. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, hit that like button. Thanks for your time tonight. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands. Oh, don't forget, catch us tomorrow in the post-match reaction of the Lons game. Peace out. Stay safe. Wash your hands.